I'm happy to be here with you sharing the latest updates from our Retail Week 2020. We are continuing our 5-day program, which includes the most interesting online and offline sessions, with participation of key members from the world of retail. Retail Week is an annual large-scale event, one of the most important and remarkable events in the industry. The event which provides a great opportunity to expand and exchange business contacts from different regions and countries. During this week, suppliers, manufacturers of products, government authorities, and other respectable speakers exchange their best experience and progressive ideas. Yesterday, we held a forum, E-Commerce Retail Week, supported by the Russian Post, the main mail delivery Russian company. During the forum, we had a plenary session, Russian Modern Online Retail, moderated by Alexey Fedorov, chairman of the Russian Trade Committee. The speakers discussed the matters of online and offline trade from different perspectives. For instance, they talked about delivery and express delivery, which is a very topical issue nowadays. Besides, speakers discussed some changes brought by the pandemic period. For instance, discussed the delivery systems and the evolution of customers' profile. While online platforms used to be more for young people before the pandemic, it is not the case anymore. Elder people have now started mastering these skills to use delivery systems more often thanks to pandemic. We may now say that the world will never be the same after the pandemic. It has changed our everyday life completely, and we don't know what to expect in the future. Clearly, this new lifestyle has influenced the retail world as well. We may now say that the world will never be the same after the pandemic. It has changed our everyday life completely, and of course it has influenced the retail world as well, leading to new ways of business management and introduction of new documentation. Now let's listen to Artem Sokolov, the president of the Association of Internet Trade, who shared his opinion on the matter.
So today we'll light down the foundations for the basic of future remote sales. You know that documents we had in the older days, so they become invalid at the end of the year. And from the 1st of January, new documents will get into force, and we discussed the new approaches, and I'm happy that representatives of the regulators, business and human rights organizations think the same way in terms of clients' convenience and convenience of business processes. So we came to an agreement that the new document should welcome development of every forms of trade, no matter if they are modern. They can include ultra-modern forms that allow you to do everything online in a contactless forms, and less modern services that support remote trade. So all forms of trade are welcome according to these rules. The rules will be as wide as possible for none of the business model existing or future, and e-com is seen a serious development to ensure they are not limited or confined by a framework. So where certain points were focused on, some of them were discussed, but for some our stakeholders agreed unanimously. I hope they reply and correspond to the needs of all the parties, and they will create comfort and safe zones for the customers, and customers feel safe and protected and have no questions. No questions when they order anything online, because they know how to behave. And the e-shop knows the rights and obligations, and also the customer understands what he can account for.
This year is expected to be record-breaking in terms of online sales. But what should we expect in the future? Let's listen to Oleg Pavlov, the chairman of Public Organization for the Protection of Consumer Rights, who shared his opinion.
You know, there was rapid development even before, but now the window of opportunities that opened in spring when non-food retail was down. So it happened then. People who were scared, who didn't know how to do, they came to this business and they realized the choice is wise, the prices are lower, and they stayed there. So non-food stores are open, all products are available, but people keep buying online. So this is likely to be a record-breaking year in volume, units, and number of deliveries, and the trend will stay. So this is a new renaissance. The trade felt great before, and this happens this year. You touched upon an interesting point: to walk less, to move less. In future, it will be justified. All stores which are at the forefront of the progress, the flagship stores will convert into showrooms, entertainment businesses, and we see how featured zones and entertainment areas open. So there will be more comfort for the buyer, but how they use their free time is a good question.
Yesterday, our speakers also talked about wine clubs. We hear a lot about digitalization when we talk about new reality. But what does digitalization have to do with wine tasting? To find this out, let's now watch an interview with Yuri Zharikov, the leading IT project manager from X5 Retail Group.
The main reason why we need digitalization to make process that helps customer to select wine digital. So a classic picture is when you come to a store and watch your clients. So they come, they go past the shelf, take one bottle of wine, then the other one. So you see he suffers. You see it's difficult for him. So the main thing to you is to make his choice easy, to make the process of buying, choosing, spending time pleasant. Let's imagine a person finds a bottle of wine he likes. He can scan the barcode and know more about the wine, its main properties, type, color, country of origin. And also there are taste properties. A simplified perception. Quite often people perceive the simplest criteria, unlike professional sommeliers. Simple criteria like how light it is, the tannin content in red wines, acerbity, how sweet it is. The top 4 criteria people think about. As for digitalization, all our great panelists talked about the same. The wine should be human. It should be simpler and more customer-oriented.
Is there any possibility that artificial intelligence could replace a man in the process of wine tasting? To find out how we integrate digital technologies in the process of wine tasting, let's listen to Mikhail Karpov, who is the project leader called Ovino from Perekrestok.
My impressions, it was great. First of all, because we did it in 2020 during the events we all know. Then secondly, due to quality of people present here, it's a great pleasure to feel you are not the only crazy person here, because speakers who were on the panel together with me are really passionate about what they do. It's true pleasure to listen to them, to have a chat with them, to borrow something, to copy something, to share your own experience. Even with a device you don't know, which looks like a common TV set for advertising on a wine shelf, we managed to get a person involved. We cater for the need, and we suggest a new tool to cater for the need in a mode which is convenient to you. If we don't do it now, if we don't take the first steps and generate experience like our peers in the market, we may be left behind. Your sommelier device doesn't collect or accumulate personal data. Secondly, it's not a device to replace a human being. It's additional presence of the retailer closer to the shopper. We try to hear some of his pains, simplify his entry into a product category. We try to make him taste something new or select something he already loves. We don't plan to close any divisions within the company. At the moment, we are at the stage where we did something new, a new essence in the shopping hall, and we try to understand how we can use it in the most convenient way for the shopper and the most profitable way for us as a retailer. In further implementation, we will match every customer, but there are job positions inside the company you cannot do without, because you need to calculate the results and you need to prepare the customer for interaction with the direction, and you cannot cancel it.
This week we are talking a lot about new reality, digital technologies and progress. Yesterday we discussed plenty of different interesting questions, including online sales in different industries, such as pharmacy and foodstuff. We also discussed how to work effectively with marketplaces. When we talk about the future of retail, we argue whether offline retail shops will extinct completely. New players entering the market discuss if they should go fully online and abandon offline sales. Will we all be living in the world of online soon? The question is quite controversial, but our foreign speakers believe that there is no chance that offline will suppress online completely. Let's now watch an interview with Mstislav Voskresensky, the CEO of Direct Food Company, who shared his experience of online foodstuff sales.
I would mention development of food trade. So this is a standard situation when you have crisis manifestations in economy. That has to do with the situation when people try to save their resources, and first of all it has to do with saving on non-food, and at the same time they try to save on services, on pleasures and entertainment. But humans need some entertainment, and food traditionally grows in every times of crisis. That has to do that a person cannot fully abandon things he likes. So food is product that brings joy to a person and allows not to pay too much. In my opinion, we should develop in both offline and online segment. And it has to do that even in countries like the UK and the United States, they are pioneers in home delivery and food retail. However, the percent of food delivery is still in the range of 7 to 9%. You need to develop offline chain, and online is a nice addition. So many of our retailers now have their own e-shops. If you think of opening your own e-shop to sell food online, it's a good solution. You need to do this, but there are laws, economic and organizational, to be observed to be successful in this market. And the case of one of companies that participated in our session, Yandex.Lavka, showed it. They're not present offline, but they are successful in online segment. You need to find the golden middle.
It's very interesting how digital technologies are being integrated in pharmacy industry. The coronavirus situation required drug manufacturers and the entire supply chain to think more about online sales. Unfortunately, they have been facing a lot of pitfalls and difficulties on their way to sell online. To find out more about online retail on pharmaceutical market, I suggest that we should watch an interview with Victoria Presnikova, Executive Director of the Association of Independent Pharmacies.
You are right. The medical drugs can be sold only in pharmacies, in the drugstores, because only licensed pharmacists can deal with the drugs, and this is regulated by the federal law. But today we are witnessing a difficult period. But why are some pharmacies running out of medications? This is a different and difficult question, because everything is here together. The pandemic time and the demand, which has increased dozens of times. We could never forecast that, because before the COVID time, they were never in demand. And this year, 2020, is difficult. And the same year, we've started the marking, the labeling of the drugs. And this, again, impaired the accessibility. Yes, COVID 2020 is the major word today. Anticoagulant drugs are also important. Heparin is one of them. But imagine, I go to a pharmacy and they tell me, yes, we have it. And then they tell me, no, we don't have it. Buy on the internet. And I buy it, but it doesn't cost 700 rubles, but 2,000 rubles. Why so? Well, I don't know. If you use the websites of the pharmacies having their own distributors, probably they had some drug remade, but there is no difference between online and offline sales, because if the medication is somewhere, the patient will get it. If there is deficiency, then the patient will not get it, because physically it doesn't exist. The pandemic time started in April, and we didn't know how to treat patients. Now we have the letter bin based on Galugin against the cytokine storm. There are a lot of vaccines. You know so much. I'm a medical doctor. Just that's okay. Tell me, please. We all speak about the Hippocratic Oath, and we say that the most important mission of the doctor is not to impair the patient, not even to treat the patient. What do we need? 3 or 4 drugs, vitamins, cytokine storm drugs. So can we make a first aid kit for this period so that people can buy it using their QR code, not in the drugstores? No. Our state regulation is really tough, and this is inefficient. So today, in all the regions, we suffer from great deficiency of drugs, not because of the pharmacies, not because of the distributors or the manufacturers who work day and night. No. For what you have said is true. We need to change the laws, and this requires a lot of time. It cannot happen really rapidly, but efficient management by the state would improve it and decrease the deficiency. But our state is great, absolutely. The Association of Independent Pharmacies, is there a dependent association? No, it doesn't exist. There is one more association uniting the federal chains. Ours unites smaller and medium-sized businesses. There can be different businesses in different regions, from Vladivostok to Kaliningrad and back. Everywhere in Russia, we have more than 14,000 pharmacies, and also we have an alliance of pharmacological associations uniting regional associations by Yakutia, Kaysia, etc. So Victoria Pesnikova, Association of Independent Pharmacists. We've discussed why in the pandemic time we should sell drugs only in drugstores. Thank you.
We continue talking about modern crisis and our new reality. How has retail business been transforming lately? What challenges and threats are businesses facing today in such unpredictable and complex world? Another topical issue discussed during our sessions is new leadership strategies. What skills should a modern leader have? To find this out, let's now listen to Sergei Goncharov, the CEO of Peterechka Retail Network, who shared his experience of handling crisis and much more interesting.
mention, we saw that during the pandemic we could get a serious return on our investment in recent 2 to 3 years in the digitalization segment. So digitalization is about two aspects: the internal digitalization, improving our in-house processes, and the second component is the external digitalizations of what our guests see when they interact with the company. We invested a lot in building up our own delivery system, and at the beginning of the year we had 300 to 400 orders per day, and recently we reached 15,000 daily orders. The day before yesterday, we broke the record with 18,000 daily orders. And here we have like Perkrostok Prog with a mission of a purchase for a longer period, and Perkrostok online. From the moment we launched our express delivery, we had over 320,000 customers, and we processed over 700,000 orders in Q3 alone. And we keep investing in internal orders. We have over 14,000 postomats or boxes working in Petersburg. But apart from automated order delivery points, we have pilot stations with like train stations, simplified return and delivery of oversized products. Then could you please put the next slide on the screen? Here I would like to mention our main focus. You know, Petersburg is the largest retail chain in the country, and I believe that business as big as Petersburg should be socially responsible. We take a lot from our society, from our community, and being the largest retailer, we still want to be a local company. And we have the two main focus points. We need to care about everyone and about the community in general. So in the last year, we helped 500 people to find their way back home, and we saved lives to 15 people. So it's not big numbers, but we cooperate with Lisa Alert.
Well, thank you for being here with us. Stay tuned to learn the latest updates and the most interesting news from the world of retail. See you tomorrow.